But I got to go, got to find my own way through. Gotta be the light in the dim with all I do. When I hit a wall, won't wave the white. If I trip and fall, you know I'll sleep when I die.
All right, we'll be starting in just a moment. By the way, as I'm going along, it's silicone pores here. So now what I need is get my silicone ready, and I'll take just a moment. I apologize, I have to step off camera for a second so I can get the silicone. Somebody's asking, what are we making? We are making silicone sculptures. Can you hear me now? I forgot to turn on my mics over on Twitch and YouTube. So I got TikTok going on over here, and then here I've got Twitch and YouTube going. Can you hear me now? Man, doing live streams, there's so many different things I screw up on those. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. We've got our two colors here. This is a beautiful red, really nice silver, and these go together. Makes a really nice, what we call a Dorian gray. Hey 405, how you doing? By the way, thanks for all the likes over there on TikTok. It really lets me know whether people actually enjoy this or not. Somebody's asking about the pigments that we use. These are all mica-based cosmetic grade pigments that are safe for, they're FDA approved, EU approved for both lips and eyes. So these are about as safe of a material as you can get. They're all mica-based. The company I actually get them from is called TKB Trading. Well, it's one of the places I use. Thank you. I actually enjoy this. Somebody's saying that my line of work is hilarious. Thanks. I mean, I have fun with it. I enjoy it. To me, this is art, which is why I call them silicone sculptures, because, we're talking color theory, and we're talking about, there's a certain amount of chemistry that goes into it. How do you combine these things to get what you want in the end? And so this is art for me. This is a way for me to be creative and enjoy myself. Lips and eyes, yes. The pigments are completely safe. They are approved for lips and eyes, although we use them for something else. All right, we're almost done getting the air out of this. All right, make sure we're all ready to go. Make sure that camera on. Yeah. This one, I want to bring up just a little. Nope, I want to bring it down. I want to bring it this way. There we go. Make sure we get Everything ready to go. Okay. So we have our silver, and then we have our red. And what I want to do, I want to get this red right on top of that silver, right in the middle. I might even cheat it to the back a little bit. And the way that it goes into this final cut determines how it's going to look in the final product. The way that it goes into this final cut determines how it's going to look. Okay, there we go. Last little bit here. Now then, I'm in a big old mess. Again, get that right about there. Now then, you can see, maybe you can see, the red is right there in the middle, kind of a bullseye on that silver. And we'll see if we can get that going straight down the middle. So we want the red to go first. We want a little bit of silver. Go, there we go. And at the end here, we should get just a touch of red. There we go. Yep. I got a little extra here, so I'm going to do a squishy real quick. And we'll just drop that right here in the middle. Now, whenever you order a custom, we always have a little extra here. And so we'll pour it off into what we call a squishy mold. And it's just a little something extra that we give people whenever they order a custom. Made from the same material as their sculpture. But people ask, what is the squishy for? What is that all about? It's just, it's kind of like a fidget toy. But it's a way for us to use the extra silicone that we've got. All right. So let me move this out of the way. Get this back over here. Now it looks like I overfilled just slightly up here. But let's sign our artwork. There we go. Hey, somebody asked, said they were new here. They're asking what we're making. We're making silicone sculptures. Oh, all right. Let's get that out of the way. Now, I always put my cups with the mold. And that way I can do some troubleshooting later if I need to. If it cures in the mold, we're good. But if we have a problem with it curing in the mold, it doesn't cure for some reason, but it cures in the cups, then we know that there was something wrong with the mold, whether it was that we used the wrong mold release or something like that. Now, if it doesn't cure in the mold or in the cups, then we know there was something wrong with our mix. So it's just a way for me to do some troubleshooting in the end if I need to. All right. So that was for order number 452. If the last 3 digits of your order number is 452, that one was for you. Somebody's asking, how long does it take to cure? That one will take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to cure. It's a 0050, so it's a little bit softer, and the softer silicones take a little bit longer to cure. Now the next one we're going to do is actually a 3-color. This is a custom for somebody, and we're going to use it's like 3 different shades of purple. All right, so this is for order number 038. We're going to use it's like 3 different shades of purple. All right, so this is for order number 038. 038. So that's the last 3 digits of the order number. If that matches your order, then this one is for you. 038. Somebody's asking about customs. What does that mean? Custom means that they have customized one of our models in some way. So we have about 7 different models that we use, and we can do different firmnesses and we can do different color patterns. So we can do, you can pick up to 3 colors. You can pick your firmness. You can pick your model. But if you're looking for somebody to actually, custom design from scratch, that's not what we do. But we do have a lot of customization available. We've got, I think, about 40 different colors, 4 different firmnesses. There's actually a couple of extra firmnesses that we can do, but we don't really do them very often. Like a really super firm or a really super soft. But generally we have a kind of a extra soft, medium, and firm. Then we have, like I said, 7 different models. So, you can do the math there and figure out all the permutations. But yeah, we do a lot of customization. Then we have, like I said, 7 different models. Beautiful Tragedy asks, have I ever had somebody ask for one made of me? No, actually, I have not. Not really what we do. We don't do realistic. We do more. It's not quite fantasy because that's what Bad Dragon does. Our stuff is a little bit more, I guess, representational rather than realistic. We're kind of in the abstract zone. All right, so we got these 3 colors that we're going to use. We've got 3 cups, so we're ready there. And let me double check the chat to make sure I'm caught up. All right, I think I'm caught up. By the way, if I missed something, drop it in the chat again. Sometimes I don't see them as they're going by. By the way, YouTube and Twitch, you're more than welcome to drop stuff into the chat as well, and I can get those questions answered too. All right, let me get my silicone together. By the way, YouTube and Twitch, you're more than welcome to drop stuff into the chat as well, and I can get those questions answered too. All right, let me get my silicone together. All right, so I got my silicone. Part A and Part B are here. And we just need to get those 2 mixed up real good. So what do you think? Do you think this is art? Do you think this is something a little bit more daring? Or is it just chemistry? What do you think? All right. Now then, I need to separate this out real quick. We'll check my weight. Okay. All right, so we sectioned off all of our silicone here. And now I want to make sure I get all my colors in the right order. So let's see. Color number 1 is this one. Then we have this one and then this one. Okay. So I'm going to do, oops, I have a dead stick. Let's see how that looks. See if we need to add any more. I think we're good there. Yeah, we got a good mix here. We got a good color. I don't know why the country is coming out in me today. But here's our first color. This one is called Winter Witch, I think. That's this very pastel purple, slightly translucent. All right, now our second color. Very pastel purple, slightly translucent. Is this? It's almost a pink, isn't it? Yeah. But they're all that kind of. They've all got this kind of bluish purple base. So I think this is actually going to look really nice. Okay. There you can see that purple, that pink. Got just a little bit of a shimmer to it. And then our last color is this deep, deep purple. This one goes really dark. It's got this really dark purple base with just a bit of a shimmer to it. Probably even looks almost black on camera. Okay, so let's get these out of the way. All right, now these need to go into the vacuum chamber. So when we mix it up, we whipped a bunch of air into it. We got to get all that air out. .405 over on Twitch asks, how many colors do we normally carry? I've actually got about 40 colors that you can choose from, but I actually have probably about 75, 80 different colors in my library, and just tons of them. But yeah, we have about 40 colors that you can choose from, and then we have another 40 or so that they didn't make it onto the website for one reason or another. They may have come in after we started doing customs. But yeah, so we got about 40 colors you can choose from and about 80 that we actually use. All right, so there were a few questions over on chat. Let me see if I can get to them. Glow in the dark. I have not found a glow in the dark that I'm satisfied with. Way too often. Sorry, heard something weird happening over there. Actually, I need to go check on that. Sorry about that. There was a weird noise coming from the other part of the studio. Glow in the dark. I have not found a glow in the dark pigment that I'm satisfied with. Either they're not considered body safe or they just don't look right. So I don't have any glow in the darks. I do have blacklight reactive though. So I have all of these, which I'll grab my black light here in a second, but these are all black light reactive. If somebody wanted to reorder this particular one, let's see if I can do this. Color, this is a Metropole A10 using color number 33, 22, and 23. So that's Winter Witch, Wandering Violet, and Royal Purple. I'll actually write that down here in a second. But those are the three colors that you would want if you wanted to recreate this one. What is this used for? Well, it is a sculpture, so you can choose to use it in a lot of different ways. Oh, Italian guy, Jim. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, the prices are, what I think that. Um, See, I don't want them to be too expensive. If you look at Bad Dragon or some of the other folks, their stuff is really expensive. You're going to spend $150, $200 on something that you can customize. And our prices aren't like that. By the way, if you want to see what it is that we do, there is a link in my bio on TikTok. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see one that says amavidi.com/TikTok. Hit that link, and that'll take you to a page where you can see our Twitter, Instagram, our web store, all kinds of stuff on there. It has links to Twitch and YouTube. I do a weekly AMA, Ask Me Anything, on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock on YouTube and Twitch. And we dive into the nitty gritty of dildo making. Oops, I'm sorry, sculpture making. Ask Me Anything on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock on YouTube and Twitch. And we dive into the nitty gritty. Forklift guy, how you doing? Man, glad to see you around. Forklift guy, how you doing? Man, glad to see you around. All right, so I have my black light reactive ones here. I'm going to turn off the lights so it goes really, really dark, right? But check these out. These just glow like crazy. I have my black light under a black light. I'm going to turn off the lights. Let's see if I can close this a little bit. But, I mean, they kind of blow out the cameras because they're just so bright. But these are my black light reactive ones. They just glow like crazy. Anyway, all right, let's get back to it. Yeah, somebody asked about doing cotton candy, pink, yellow, and blue. That's one of our standard colorways. So you can definitely check that out on the website and see that one. Hey, so you know one of my silicone slingers. I think it's Honeypot. Is that your name? Yeah, Honeypot 13. So you know one of my silicone slingers. And yeah, she did a great job. She did a whole batch of them, and it sounds like you got a few of hers, which I'm sure she's glad. So you know one of my silicone slingers, and yeah, she did a great job. She did a whole batch of them. All right, there's somebody who's asking on Twitch, and I want to get this clarified for me so I can answer the question correctly. Thoughts on silicone polish for the sculptures? Some say a patch test, and others say it's definite no-no. What do you mean by that? Are you talking about after it's been cured and you go back with a little bit of silicone to highlight particular colors or something like that? Or are you talking about polishing the masters? Give me a heads up. What are you thinking there? All right, again, this is for order number 038. All right, so we've got all three colors. Excuse me. We've got all three colors ready. And this is what we're looking at here. So this is color number 1. So that's going to be our base. I say base, it's just the first color that goes into the cup. Our second color goes right on top of that. Make sure we get all that good stuff in there. Okay. And then our third color goes right on top of that. So this is a 3-color pour. Make sure we get all of this. Silicone is not cheap, so I want to make sure I get all of it. Don't want to have any extra, any waste if we can help it. Okay. So there's our, oops, we need to make sure we get our mold ready. I forgot to put mold release on this one, so we need to get it in there. Make sure we get that there. Okay. Where's our dot? There we go. I'm just making sure I don't have any hot spots of mold release there, because that will cause cure inhibition, and that's a bad thing. All right. So here we go. You should see that dark purple go in first. Then there's that pink. And here we should see the light purple start. There we go. You know, this reminds me of one of the pride flags. All right, there's that. And let's do some squishies as well. Just get that right in there. I've got this little fish. I haven't tried him out yet. I want to get a little bit. I want to try this fish here. Now, this is going to be a tricky one. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. Oh well. It's all for experimentation, right? Right. Okay. So we have our squishies done. Set those to the side. Now then, we've got our Metropole here, and now it's time to sign the artwork. I say sign because each of us, there's about 3 of us here that do pours, and each of us have our own way of doing the bases of these. And so we can actually tell who made what based off of our signatures. Hey, thanks for the help. I'm glad to see everybody helping everybody else out. Hey, thanks for the help. Glad to see everybody helping everybody else out. Hey, yeah, we have one of the things we have on the website is a pack of squishies, and they're just random squishies that you can get. That you know, if you just want a little fidget toy to play with, they're awesome for that. Actually, I have a bucket of squishies. You want to see the bucket of squishies? Let me know if you want to see my bucket of squishies. By the way, that was for order number 038. And I just use, you see me spraying down my workspace here. This is just a bottle of 99% isopropyl alcohol. And so it does a really good job of cutting through the silicone. and also does a really good job of sanitizing. So I like to keep it as clean as I can. Okay, we have a few votes for seeing the bucket of squishies. Done. All right. So these are just extra bits of silicone that we pour off into the molds, and they're just little pieces. You know, we've got smiley faces, we've got paw prints, smiley faces, paw prints. We have diamonds like that. We have octopus. We have poops. We have more poops. We have unicorns. We have dinosaurs. More smiley faces. Where's that? There it is. Easter Island heads. And then I have a bunch that aren't in here. There's another dinosaur. Rawr. Oh, we have aliens. There's another unicorn. We have robots. Just all kinds, diamonds, all kinds of stuff in here. And if you order a squishy pack, they'll just be random ones. Different firmnesses, different colors, all the different things. There's a red green. This would be a good one for Christmas coming up. There's a red green smiley face. There's a silver poop. Do you have any favorites? How long does it take for these to set? Yeah, it'll take about 2 hours for the 0050 and about an hour and a half for the A10. So probably by the time I leave today, because I got about 4 hours before, about 3 hours before I go home. And so, yeah, these will be done by the time I leave. Then they'll go into the hot pot and finish curing. We'll leave them in there for overnight. And that just makes sure that they finish curing. And the hot pot runs about 180 to 200 degrees. So it's going to do a really good job of killing off any of the wee beasties that might be around, bacteria, molds, viruses, etc. So, yeah, they'll soak overnight. And then tomorrow they'll get packaged up. And if I can catch the mailman, they'll ship out tomorrow. But it may be Monday before they ship out. If I can catch the mailman, they'll ship out tomorrow. But it may be Monday before they ship out. Yeah, Moe, you got it. Couple hours, depending on firmness. Yeah, Moe, you got it. Couple hours. Squishies. See this? Squish, squish, squish. And squish, squish, squish. Now these are fairly firm. These are. This is probably my A40. But I do have. I thought I had some squishier paw prints. Oh, there's a spaceship. And another robot. Oh, and then we have French fries. There's a black and red or black and purple red diamond. Robot. Poop. Squishy poop. So, all right, that's my bucket of squishies. Okay. So 405 over on Twitch asks about different kind of lubricants that might be used. You've got basically three different kinds. You've got oil-based, you've got water-based, and you've got silicone-based. And then there's some hybrids in there that are kind of a mixture of water-based and silicone-based. Personally, what I have found is that what I've seen is that if you use a silicone lubricant with a silicone sculpture, You can have a reaction. I've never seen it melt. Now, again, that's my stuff, my particular materials and everything. I've never had any problems with anything melting. I have seen slight absorption. If you use a silicone lube with a silicone sculpture, then you can see a little bit of absorption, but it doesn't absorb it permanently. It'll actually absorb it and it'll weep back out. If you've ever taken a silicone sculpture and put it on a piece of paper, and then you pick it up and you see a kind of a oily mark on the paper, that's the silicone fluid slightly weeping from the toy itself. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Silicone is completely body safe. At least the platinum pure silicones that we use. Now, personally, I would recommend that you use a water-based lube. Although, if you find a hybrid, I would test it on the base and see. But there's some really good hybrids out there that don't cause any problems with silicone sculptures. All right, so any other questions? I need to wrap it up here soon. I'll probably stay on Twitch and YouTube for a little bit longer after I shut down TikTok, and maybe get a little. Maybe there might be some questions that are a little too specific that we can't do on the clock app. But I'll probably hang out for about 5 or 10 minutes on Twitch and YouTube. There are links. Go to my bio on TikTok. You'll see amavidi.com/TikTok. Hit that, and you'll be able to find a link to YouTube and Twitch if you want to join over there. But yeah, unless you have any other questions, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Ricky, you say it'll peel. What do you mean? What is going to peel? I guess that was Ricky Amber, 79. Oops. By the way, this is what we made today. We have this one, and we have this one. This one I overfilled a little bit, so I'll have to go back and trim that base out a little bit. This one I really like. This one came out really nice. It's just such a nice purple palette. So, what do you think? You like them? I like them. I'm really happy with this one. This one might actually end up becoming a standard color. I like it that much. I don't know what I'd call it. What would we call this one? Purple Rain? Can't use that. What should we call this one? It's got the purple, the lavender, the pink. Prince. Yeah, there's a lot of pink in here, but there's a purple that's going to be a really dark purple that's going to be down here at this end, and then there's a lighter purple in the middle, and there's a real nice pink right there on top. The Prince, I kind of like that. What else? What else can we do? Check out this color. What should we call that? I like that one.
Plum Crazy.
Plum Crazy? I like that. Somebody was recommending the Prince, Purple Magic.
I like Purple Magic.
Yeah, Purple Magic is good. I said Purple Rain, but I don't think I can get away with that.
Yeah.
But Purple Magic is good. Okay. Well then, I am about to wrap it up. So TikTok, I will see you later. I don't know when I'm going to do this. I do this kind of randomly. So if you're on TikTok, give me a follow, and you'll get a notification whenever we do these. But I do them kind of randomly, just depending on how I'm feeling that day, whether I've got orders to make and what kinds they are, things like that. So I don't like doing the same thing over and over again. But do give me a follow, and you'll get a notification next time. Thanks. Bye. Look at that purple. It's just so pretty. All right. Twitch, YouTube. It's all you. Ludo wants to know what's for lunch. I don't know. What are you making me for lunch? Not too much. I had breakfast this morning, so I don't need that much. Ooh, pureness. I like that question. Now you're getting into the nitty gritty of it, and that's your question about silicone encapsulating dangerous pigments. Here's what I will say, is that silicone does a really good job of encapsulating materials up to a certain particle size. And once you get beyond that, then the silicone really has a hard time encapsulating that pigment completely. So I would be curious. My concern would be that the particle size would be too large for the silicone to completely encapsulate it. Now, having said that, no matter what you do, there's almost always going to be a certain amount of pigment that is on the surface and just didn't get encapsulated completely. It's very likely that everything, but there's always a small chance that there's going to be a certain amount of pigment that just doesn't get encapsulated, and that's something that it's just something I just don't want to deal with, and so I choose to stick with pigments that, even if I just coated the outside of it, it's not going to harm anybody or anything, and that way I never have to feel like I'm taking a chance with somebody else's body. And more specifically, pureness. There's a reason why we don't use glitter. Glitter, number one, is a plastic and isn't all that great. But number two, the particle size on glitter is such that it's very easy for those little bits of plastic to have a pointy edge sticking straight out. And it's, when you get to that size of particles, it's just game over for me. But great question. I actually really like that one. Let's see. Anything else? I was just going through my my chat here and going through my Twitter direct messages. Sometimes I get questions. Oh, I have somebody trying to get me onto a scammer website. Great. That's just great. Let me switch over to that account. Let's see. Check messages. Let's see if there are any message requests. Nope. Nothing there. So, any other questions? Again, we're on Twitch and YouTube, so we can be a little bit more direct about things. We actually had a conversation a couple days ago about, I say we, there is a Discord that the various indie toy makers all kind of congregate on, and we we had a nice little discussion about material safety, and there's some gray area in there depending on what your risk tolerance is. And personally, my risk tolerance is very low, so uh, it was an interesting conversation to have. Last week on my weekly AMA on Sunday night, we talked about the new ISO standard, ISO 3533, which is a ISO standard for sex toys. And so uh, I went through and kind of did a breakdown of the entire ISO standard, and it was really interesting. There's some interesting parts in there about size versus how do we put this? Size versus anatomical structures, I'll say. Basically, there was a discussion in the ISO standard. I say discussion. There was a call out regarding the actual length being a determining factor on how dangerous something can be. Not necessarily of the length itself, but beyond a certain length, if it gets pulled into the body because the base wasn't wide enough or whatever, if it gets pulled into the body, once it reaches a certain length, it has a tendency to follow the anatomy very, very quickly. And it'll get not just pulled up, but also farther into the body just because of the anatomy and the curves. And once you get beyond a certain length, once it hits that curve, it wants to pop and it wants to really kind of burrow its way into the body, so to speak. So that was interesting. Good question. 405. Yes. Regarding clumping pigments. Now, personally, I do use silicone fluid. Sometimes it's called silicone thinner or silicone oil. I use that in certain colors, like this blue. This blue has a tendency to clump up. Also, my pink, this bubblegum pink here, has a tendency to clump. And so, where's my other one? My baby blue. This is another one. This was really bad about clumping. But I'll just take a little bit of silicone fluid, silicone thinner, and use a blender with the pigment and just blend the hell out of it. And then it goes into a bottle like this. Now, it does have a couple of effects. Number one, it affects the viscosity. And that's what silicone thinner is designed for. It's to reduce the viscosity. Second, it will slightly soften your silicone. And when I say slightly, we're talking a negligible amount, but it exists. I have to say that it exists. The third is that if you go beyond, say, I think it's 5 or 10% of your total volume in silicone fluid, then you can have problems with it wanting to weep out and migrate out of the silicone structure itself. So you're not wrong in the sense that it can weep out, but you have to kind of do it really badly in order for that to happen. Ooh, pureness. Do I think that the new ISO standard could have an effect on other indie makers? What I have found is that, number one, the ISO standard is voluntary, and so it's not something that is regulated or enforced. So it's pretty much a kind of voluntary thing. And I don't even know if there's a way to get ISO 3533 certified. But if we go a little bit more meta, so to speak, then the history of this ISO standard was that it was originally written by Weavide. And We Vibe is part of the Love Honey group, which also includes Love Honey Products, Love Honey Distribution, and WowTech. And Love Honey Group is kind of the distributor. But as a distributor, because they were involved in the ISO standard creation, I think that they are motivated to try to get all of their products, as well as all the products that they distribute, ISO 3533 compliant. And so I think what we're going to see is more toys that are and industry wide, and we'll come back to the indie toy makers in a moment. But I think industry wide, we're going to see more toys made out of safer materials, and I think that's a good thing. Now, as for the indie makers, again, it's voluntary to comply with the ISO standard, but I think that virtually everybody that I've talked to has already been taking into account body safety, and so that means that they've been very diligent about the pigments that they use, the silicone that they use, their methodology. There are very, very few toy makers out there that I could even point to say, I'm not quite so sure. I have seen a few people who have posted pictures of their pigments, and I've noticed some of them were not both eyes and lips safe. They were safe for lips or eyes, but not both. And so, that's a choice that they're making. As far as materials go, even the ISO standard only calls out some specific materials. Basically, it says that the material needs to be biocompatible, which platinum cured silicone is, and the pigments need to be I can't remember exactly what they migratory metals were the big problems, and basically they're metals that if they touch the body, there's a chance that they could migrate from the toy to the body. And we're talking about lead, which I don't know if anybody has used lead in the last 60 years, so that's even a non-starter. Cadmium is another one that I think most people know not to use. Chromium, cobalt, ultramarine. These are all materials that could be considered not body safe. And so when you're picking out your pigments, you want to look and see to make sure that all of the ingredients are actually body safe. And so one of my problems is blues. So many times they use cobalt, or they use ultramarine, or they use what's the other one? I think sometimes they use lapis, but blues are really hard for me to find that I like and are body safe. So that was kind of an all over answer, but I think I've kind of got around to what you were asking about. What is considered a safe base size? That's actually a really interesting question because there was no standard set for that. The only thing that was called out in the ISO standard was that you should be aware of the risks and the foreseeable misuse of a particular toy. And basically, I don't know that there's actually a good answer to that. Personally, it comes down to firmness as well. Like for me, all of mine, except for the dough, all of mine have a 3-inch base, which if you can get that in your body, I mean, I'm impressed. But I use a 3-inch base, and nothing that I make is more than about 1.5 inches, maybe 1 3/4 in diameter, which means that there would have to be there's always a nice step from the toy itself to the base. Now, I haven't done any plugs, mostly because I haven't found a design. Let me rephrase. I have not come up with a design that I think is pretty, that does what I want it to do, and is safe. So that's why I haven't gone into plugs. But I do have some that I bought from the local toy store that I like their design, and so I'll probably use those as inspiration. Um, but those will be a little bit farther down the road for me. So, what else you got for me? I love the questions, by the way. I've been talking to some of the other makers, and um, I've invited them to be on my weekly live stream on Sunday nights, and I've had several people who've said yes. So hopefully we'll be able to get those scheduled and into the queue so that we can get some other makers on, and we can get those questions from a different perspective as well. So, unless you have any other questions, I am going to wrap it up for the day. I need to grab a refill real quick. I'll be back in a moment. If you do have questions, drop them in the chat while I grab a refill, and we'll go from there. Yeah, 405. I actually like that idea. Doing kind of a combo density, not a dual density, but a combo density, where you have a softer tip and a firmer base. I really like that idea, um, and I think that's something that I'll probably play with as well. Hmm. All right. Clean up my mess a little bit here. One of the things that always throws me for a loop is the delay between what I say versus what you hear, and then what comes in on the chat. Because between the three different steps, there can be a 30-second delay. So I have to remember that it's not a synchronous conversation; that it's delayed by about 30 seconds. So, anywho, you got any other questions? Because I need to eat lunch. I need to finish out another project, and then I need to go home, take a nap, and then I've got a date later on tonight. So, yeah, yeah. All right, 405. Take care. Thank you for dropping by. Pureness, thank you for your questions, and join me again sometime. Bye.